Next, let's talk about the evolutionary way that is provided by Microsoft. And before we discuss the evolution or the evolutionary way, let's quickly talk about the old way of doing things. So what is the traditional way of doing things so that we can understand some pain points. So the goal is to experience some pain and then talk about the new stuff, which helps us in modernizing our systems. So the old way of doing things with data used to involve limited data sources. So maybe we used to have Excel workbooks, maybe we used to have CSV files, and maybe we used to have SQL Server databases back in the day. And in fact, there are companies who still use all of these technologies. And yes, it's good to have all of these technologies. So these technologies are not going anywhere at all, but we should not limit ourselves just to these technologies. So back in the day, when it came to designing our data-based solutions, we used to have mostly just these sort of data sources. And then also back in the day, we used to have smaller data volumes, maybe a few 100 MB, like back in 1983 or 84 or so. Bill Gates mentioned that I do not envision anyone using more than 640 kilobyte of data, 640 KB. Can you imagine not having more than 640 KB of data? Obviously, no. So these days we have not even terabytes, but petabytes of data. So back in the day, we used to have smaller data sets. At best, people used to say that we have around maybe a gigabyte of data, or if you have a very gigantic sort of company, back in the day, we used to have around 50 GB or something like that. So typically, it didn't used to be more than that. So traditionally, we used to have smaller data, less variety used to be there, and it also involved simpler data processes. So data ingestion, data transformation, data manipulation, data cleanup, cleansing, etc. It used to be much simpler, straightforward, because we had smaller data sets and very limited data sources and destinations. So that used to be the old way of doing things.